The following is a presentation of the IH Sports Network. You're listening to The Round Table. For the next 2 hours, we'll talk local high school sports with the voice of the Oneida Indians, Tim Smith.
Pitches to Grady Keaton working against Orr. Takes him to the basket, lays it in.
Whoa! There we go!
And he was fouled by Orr.
The voice of the Scott Highlanders, Rick Keaton.
There you go.
Defected.
There you go.
Lloyd, the long jumper is no good, and the Highlanders pick up the win.
Produced by the IH Sports Network, The Round Table begins now.
Good Thursday evening, everybody, and welcome to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network. We are live from the C. Michael Lay Technology Center in Helenwood, alongside the voice of the Indians, Tim Smith, the voice of the Highlanders, Rick Keaton. I'm Ben Garrett. Thank you for joining us. We're going to talk to several high school athletes tonight over the next hour and a half or so. And, guys, we'll start off by real quickly summarizing where we're at, because we're getting ready to start the final week, hard as it is to believe, of this regular season. And Tim, I'm going to start off with you. If it's all right with you guys, we won't focus as much on the games that have been played. We know how they went, right? Since the return from the weather break, it's been great for them, minus the Alcoa game. Scott High, it's been a slump for Scott High, with the exception of the Lady Highlanders getting a huge win on Tuesday night over Union County. Tim, let's talk about the boys, District 2, 2A. You've got Alcoa, Gatlinburg. They're at the top of the district, 6-1. But here sits Oneida, 5-2, one game back. I said after they beat Gatlinburg a few weeks ago that it feels like that everybody has just written off Oneida all season long, and it still feels like that because you know what? Technically, at a game back, they're not out of the race for a regular season district championship. That's a long road to hope. You've just got to play AE twice and all that, but they're right there.
They are, and of course you're talking about the boys. And
yes.
We start tomorrow night an 8-day stretch with 5 games. I think that's the story's true for both of us. 5 games in 8 days. So it's going to be a race to the finish, and the snow set everybody back. And I don't think any team was affected more by the snow delays than Austin East teams. Going into this week, I think they had played 1 district game. So they basically were trying to hit 9 games in 2 weeks. Or it started last Saturday, actually, to get that made up. But both the Lady Indians and the Indians, I think, have achieved a great deal, especially given the expectations going into the season when you're going into a district that had, 3 in the boys' case, you had 3 teams that were in the sectional last year. In the girls' case, you had 2 teams that were in the sectional last year. And right now, our girls are sitting in a 3rd spot right behind those 2 teams, and our boys seem to be in the mix right there with the 3 teams that made the sectional in AA last year. So and Austin East was a AAA team last year when they made a sectional. So, they dropped down. They had a big early win against Alcoa, and they're the opponent tomorrow night. So I think these next 5 games, the most important of which are going to be the 2 Austin East matchups and the Alcoa matchup, are going to be, obviously huge in determining things for both the Lady Indians and the Indians. And Oneida's ladies, now that they've seen Alcoa and seen how that works, it was a single-digit game. Alcoa kind of dominated that game early, and the Lady Indians chipped back away and got back into it. And I think have learned some things they want to employ when they go up against them the second time. The downside of that is you're having to do it at their place. Same thing happened with the boys. Now, Alcoa is the defending state champ, and they certainly looked like it that night at Oneida. I can't remember seeing a team perform as well as they did in recent memory in a few years with so many pieces. It just whoever came in off the bench was contributing. I would like to think they can't be that hot all the time. I mean, they did lose to Austin East, and then Austin East is a strange case. Here's a team that beat Alcoa and then beat AAA Fulton, which was their nemesis over the past few years. And then now they have had 3 straight games that would be what you would consider less than stellar. I mean, there's no shame in losing to Gatlinburg. There's no shame in the loss to Alcoa, obviously, either, who was trying to avenge that. But they did have a 10-point game with Eagleton, which is much the same thing we ran into when we played Eagleton, but they did that at home. So I think the last 3 games for Austin East boys have been a bit of a head-scratcher. The Lady Roadrunners, this will be the first time the Austin East has come to Oneida to play basketball, and so it's an exciting opportunity. The Lady Indians really have a chance to lock in third, and if they can go to Alcoa and come up with a successful game plan Tuesday night, maybe even better than that. So I use the word opportunity a lot. What an opportunity these next 5 games are for our 2 teams, and the regular season is just warm up for the real thing. Exactly. But you really want to position yourself to be successful in that postseason.
So we're going to talk about Scott High in a minute and talk about the way that the math shakes out for the district tournament, the seedings and all that. It's going to be a little bit different than what I feel like anyway with Oneida. Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, but I feel like obviously with a 6-team district, you want one of the top 2 seeds because that gets you the automatic bye. It gets you into the region tournament without even playing a game. And so if the goal is to extend your season as far as you can, and that is the goal for everybody at this point, then you want one of those top 2 seeds. Once you drop down, you're looking at the Oneida boys. They're going to be, if they can't capture one of the top 2 seeds, they could be a 3 seed, they could be a 4 seed. I don't know that there's a big difference there because you've got a huge drop-off between those top 4 and then Eagleton and Pigeon Forge. And then I feel like it's the same way on the girls' side. You want one of those top 2 seeds, but if you get in the 3 or the 4, and even probably more pronounced on the girls' side because you got the top 3 seeds, and then you got a big drop-off between Pigeon Forge, Austin East, and Eagleton. Is that a fair assessment?
I think it is. I think matchup-wise, Pigeon Forge has been a tough matchup for us, although the last time we played Eagleton at their place, they really brought it. So, and they're getting better every game. So, you don't want that play-in game necessarily. But if you've got it, the benefit of it is maybe if you can be the 3 seed, you at least have a game under your belt, and it hadn't been so long, and maybe there's not that much distance between the 3 and the 2 seed, and you've got a warm-up game if you can win it, getting into that district. So I try to look on the bright side.
Right, and if Gatlinburg turns out to be the 2 seed on the boys' side, and they've not played Alcoa yet. They play them tomorrow night and then again Thursday night, so they're going to play them twice in this last week. If Gatlinburg winds up being the 2 seed, Oneida's already beaten them, and obviously, both teams have just an outstanding player, but I got to think that Javan Carter from Alcoa has got a little bit of an edge over Ty Glasper from Gatlinburg. Wouldn't you think?
What I observed from Javan Carter, in my opinion, it was similar to things I saw from years back, like Brene Laxton when Oneida would play. She would involve her team. That was the mindset from the outset. She wanted to get everybody involved and do that. But if she had to step in, if it was getting dicey and she just had to step in and take over, she would, and she would finish it off. That's what he looked like to me the night at Oneida. I've seen him one time, right? But that night he was getting his teammates involved. He was in the flow. It wasn't about what he was doing that night, even though he wound up being wonderful again. But if they needed him, he was ready if he was needed. That's what it looked like to me.
What a fun.
Did that answer the question?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That is such a fun district, and man, it's just getting started. So much fun basketball. I mean, you think about it, a couple of weeks, this thing's going to be over, but man, those 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it is, it's going to be fun. All right, so we swing over to District 4-3A, Rick, and we got, unlike Oneida, where there's a lot left to be settled at the top of the district, we've got a clear-cut number 1 on both the boys' side and the girls' side. That would be Anderson County on the boys' side. They're sitting at 7-1. Clinton, the same thing, 7-1 on the girls' side. Everybody else still jockeying for position. Right. Let's start with the boys. Unfortunately, it's been a little bit of a skid here for Scott High. They were second in the district going into the weather break. They had just beaten Clinton. Everything seemed to be going well for them. I think they had won 5 out of 6 or something like that. 4 straight losses since then. That probably locks them into the 4-5 game, maybe with Union County. We don't know. Clinton, Gibbs, Union County, they're all right there together. But how do you see that shaking out?
Well, the Highlanders still have some work to do. They could, with a little bit of luck, because they've got 3 district games left, a little bit of luck, good solid basketball. 2 of those games will be at home. Tomorrow night, Gibbs. Next Tuesday night, we go to Union County. I'm sorry. Yeah. We've got the 2 games Friday and Saturday this week. So you've got Cumberland Gap, you got Gibbs, and you got Union County. So we've got to go to Union County. Surprise, Union County, that upset last night. They beat Clinton. Even though it was played at Union County, did that not surprise you just a little bit to think that? Because Clinton had been the team that sort of been on a little bit of a run.
They had been, but was I surprised? I don't know. After watching them on Tuesday night at Sky High, I don't know that I was that surprised.
It's the Highlanders have a chance. I mean, I guess I don't know that we can leapfrog everything and get all the way up to 3 seed. 4 would be nice. That puts you at 4 and 5. That takes you in away from the number 1 seed. So that's the most important thing right now is trying to, don't sandbag anything. You don't go out and just hope to do that, but stay away from the number 1 seed when you get to that second round there like that. So that's so important to do. The boys also showed us a lot more Tuesday night. I mean, it was a debacle and really bad.
Monday night.
Monday night.
Yeah.
Over at Anderson County, and they came back at home and played much better. Did a much better job on Tuesday night. I'd like to see them continue to do that. It is a game. Go have fun. Enjoy yourself while you're playing. Put a smile on your face occasionally out there on the court, and just let it rip. I think if I was giving Coach Aiden any advice, all I'd say, man, tell them to have fun and just go out there and enjoy things. Don't put too much pressure on themselves. And somewhere along the line, I think we were putting a lot of pressure on ourselves, knowing we could have got to a 3 or a 2, taking care of business. But, that's why we play them on the court. It's not about the pieces of paper we've got in front of us. It's why we play them on the court, and the better team will generally win that night. Doesn't mean that the next time you play this team, maybe you win by 20 this night, and the next time you play them, you lose by 20. It's a finicky game.
You mentioned why you want the 3 seed, staying away from AC in the district tournament. I think you also would like to get the 3 seed because that gives you Cumberland Gap in that elimination game in the first round. And we talked about it on the Oneida side. There is a clear drop-off. I feel like you've got Clinton, Gibbs, Union County, Scott High. They're all bunched together. Any given night, anybody can beat anybody. But then there's a drop-off to Cumberland Gap. They're winless in the district. Now, they're going to have an opportunity. If anybody from Cumberland Gap is watching right now, they're going to have an opportunity to prove me wrong on Saturday. But so far, the closest they've come to beating anybody in district play is 17 points, which was against Clinton.
Right.
So they haven't gotten within single digits of anybody. But, as you said, that's a tough road to hoe. The big thing right now for Scott High, take care of business these next 3 games, build some confidence, build some momentum, and get ready for what truly does look like it's probably going to be Union County in that 4-5 game.
It's going to be hard to leap them. It's funny, Union County and Scott, we're the only 2 teams that have 3 games left in the district. Everybody else just got 2 games left. So they've obviously already got a game up in the win column, I guess. So these 2 teams trying to jockey for the 4-5. I'm not saying we can't get there, but we need a lot of help and some tiebreakers and stuff like that.
Don't control your own destiny.
Exactly.
All right, talking about the girls, Clinton, I said, is the 1 seed. They're right now. They're 7-1. They're probably going to be the 1. Anderson County is setting number 2. Really playing well. They're 5-3. But what a big win for Scott's Lady Highlanders on Tuesday night against Union County. That puts them up to 4th and ended a 4-game losing streak in the district for them. And all of a sudden, they are very much alive to capture a 2 seed and get that first-round bye in the district tournament.
Exactly. The next team ahead of you, and they're 1 game ahead of you, is Cumberland Gap. We go there on Saturday. Hey, there you go. We win there. That'd be obviously, I think the first tiebreaker is the head-to-head, so that would give us the 2 wins over them. So that would be big. That could take us to the 4th place. Other things have to happen. We've got to pick up the win at home over Gibbs tomorrow night. I think that's doable. Union County, obviously, we just won that game Tuesday night, so that's winnable. I mean, so you give them 3 wins. If the Lady Highlanders can get 3 wins, that takes you up to 6 wins. And I'm not maybe depends on how Anderson County does. They've still got to play Clinton.
They still got to play Clinton, right?
They got to play Union County. I mean, so at best, I project that to be 1 win, 1 loss.
I would think so.
For them. I mean, so the big thing is we could get there. It takes going out on the court.
Now, on the girls' side, unlike the boys' side, you want to be one of the top 2 seeds to get that bye. But if you're not, I don't know that there's a big advantage to getting the 3 because you look at those teams, Anderson County, Cumberland Gap, Scott High, Union County, Gibbs. It's literally a coin flip on any given night.
Exactly. And if you're 3 through 6, you still have to play the first game in the tournament. Once again, I just said, hey, don't put a lot of pressure on yourself and stuff like that. But, You're going to play on your home court in the district tournament, first round quarterfinal game right there. So if you got yourself in position, that's what you're shooting for, to get there. Maybe pick a team that you match up with real well. Hopefully that'll fall in place. You match up real well. You can pick up the win there, and that gets you to, the semifinal round, which is what everybody wants to get to.
Yep. All right, so that sets the stage for where we're at. Tomorrow night starts the final week of the regular season, guys. What a huge night of basketball it is here locally. Oneida's going to host Austin East. They're going to see Shane Cherry for the first time and his brother and the rest of the Roadrunners for the first time this year. That is a humongous game in Oneida. Scott High's got Gibbs. That's a humongous game. That losing for the men's team, losing that double-digit lead late third quarter last Thursday night at Gibbs, that still looms large. So tomorrow night is so big.
Yes.
If you like high school basketball, and if you're watching this right now, you like high school basketball, get out tomorrow night to one of these two gyms. If your blood runs orange, you're going to go to Oneida. If it runs red, you're going to go to Scott High. If you don't really have a preference, flip a coin and choose one. But get out and support these two teams. Tomorrow night's a huge night of basketball. So with that said, we're going to step aside for our first break of the night. When we come back, we're going to bring in a couple of the Oneida Lady Indian players right after this.
You're not.
Welcome back to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network. Alongside Rick Keaton, Tim Smith, I'm Ben Garrett. We are joined now by two Oneida Lady Indians. We've got Analia Terry, who is the last senior. I hope, unless I've messed up, there's just three of you guys, right? Yes. Last senior, and we got sophomore Ellie West, coach's daughter. Another coach's daughter, actually, not basketball coach, but, he pulls a lot of weight around Oneida, Tim Smith, Jason Terry, I mean.
He does. And he wins championships. He did that this year. And so,
and Analia was just telling us that he got her out of class the next 2 days. So,
days a week.
Somehow it's good to be the king, I guess. Isn't that what they say? So I'm going to start with Analia because she's the senior. No offense, Ellie. All right. So tomorrow night, Austin East comes in. You guys haven't played them yet. We got snowed out for the first matchup. Can you tell us anything about the scouting report? What you've been told to expect from the Lady Roadrunners tomorrow?
He's told us that they're very physical and they're scrappy, and that we just got to go hard because they're going to go hard at us.
Yeah. Do you know the last time they won a state championship?
I do not.
Okay. Do you know, Ellie? It was 2007, not really that long ago, 17 years ago. They went through some rough years, but the Lady Roadrunners have a history, and they have won a state championship, and they're going to be coming up looking to make some noise. They haven't got a district win yet, right? So they're 0-3, and they're having to pack in a lot of games. So as far as your role, because you've started every game for Oneida this year. Rebounding is big. You haven't taken a lot of shots. I don't know if anybody's in your ear on that, saying you need to shoot it more.
Yeah.
Who is?
My dad.
Your dad? Yeah.
Of course.
Coach West?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I've heard him talk about that. So, I mean, you've got a really good shooting percentage. You're good from the three. So, I mean, probably it's not a bad idea, but, I'm just going to throw my hat in the ring there too. But this is going to be a team you're going to have to get rebounds. And, Pat Summitt always said that rebounds win championships. And it seems like you take that to heart. You're second on the team in rebounding. What do you attribute that to as far as rebound? I mean, is it just natural? Do you just know how to get position and get in there and get the rebound? Or is it something that the coaches have worked with you on?
I'm pretty physical, and I'm stronger than some of the girls on our team, so that's the role that he had me in when I first started playing more for him. Mm-hmm. And so that was like my role back then, and so it's just kind of grown off of it.
Would you say it's fair that that you don't shy away from mixing it up? If somebody wants to go, you're ready to go. Is that probably true?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Ellie, what about your seniors this year, the three seniors? Talk about the different styles of leadership. I mean, do you have some that are vocal leaders, some that lead with their play? What has it been like to have these three seniors guide you through this season of moving to 2A?
I feel like Analia and Grace are more vocal, and Rayleigh just plays point guard, so she's really making the most out there.
And so now, so you're scoring a lot too, and your 3-point percentage is really good. I was looking at that, and that's not a shot that you should ever shy away from, because it always gives us a good chance. Why do you think that is? I mean, how much have you worked on just the 3-point shot?
I work on that the most, and I worked on anything.
Yeah, and so offensively, when do you feel most comfortable? What makes you in a game feel like, okay, I'm going to shoot it more, this is going good? Can you describe kind of a game this year, maybe when it felt like everything was clicking for the Lady Indians?
I don't know.
What about a game where it definitely wasn't clicking?
Oh gosh.
You remember, you're like your dad, you remember those more than you remember the good times. Let me ask you this. You've played Alcoa once.
Mm-hmm.
You got Austin East tomorrow night, but you've played Alcoa once. They were very good defensively. To me, watching them, it seemed like their offense was good, but their defense was even better. What have you thought about that since then? Have you thought about things that you might be able to do differently, maybe ways to exploit Alcoa next time so that you don't get down early and you're able to compete better with the Lady Tornadoes?
We just need to be more aggressive against them and just take it to the paint on them.
Okay. So, and I feel like probably playing these bigger teams this year has led to some success against some other teams, Clark Range being one of those.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your third crack at them, I think you guys have been beat around by some of these other teams so much that you were able to dish out the punishment to the Lady Buffaloes, which is an unusual thing. Only the fourth win against Clark Range, so that's a pretty big deal. It's going to be similar. Tomorrow night you've got Austin East. It's going to be a physical game. Then you're going to have a really good Pickett County Lady Bobcat team coming in Saturday. So talk about the back-to-back nights of that. What the opportunities there to try to take on this team. You played them earlier this year. Was that a Hall of Fame game, Pickett County?
I don't think we
that was
played
just the
Pickett.
boys, wasn't it? So this will be your only look at them. What have you scouted them yet, or are you just worried about Austin East?
We're just pretty worried about Austin East right now, taking it a game at a time.
Well, it is the most important one, right? So tell me, what has been a surprise for you this year from one of the underclassmen, somebody who has contributed that you wouldn't have expected coming in the season, but you thought, man, they've really done a good job for us this year?
Larissa Jones, I feel like, has really stepped up.
Mm-hmm.
She's crazy on the boards, and then anytime she gets an open shot down low, she's going to take it, and she normally makes them.
Well, and I mean, you mentioned that she's a rebounding machine.
Mm-hmm.
You're second to her in rebounds.
Yeah.
She's the leading rebounder. And then her shooting percentage, I was looking at this today, she's 49% in shooting. She almost hits 1 out of every 2, and that's
pretty good.
That's really good shooting percentage. So what about you, Ellie? Is there anybody that surprised you this year?
Probably Larissa, too.
Larissa?
Yeah.
Yep. And so being a fellow sophomore, that's going to be nice to have her along the way for the next couple of years. So 8 days, 5 games. What's going to be the most important thing for the Lady Indians to focus on this coming week?
We just need to take it day at a time, like she said, and focus on district play more than anything right now.
Okay. And what about the coaches? Can you tell any difference in them from last year and this year in this change? And you've had an addition of Coach Pike onto the staff?
Coach West, I feel like, has definitely gotten more intense. Not like he was laid back last year, but
No.
this year he's, like, definitely surprised us all, like, with his ways. And then Coach Markham, he's pretty much stayed the same. He tries to find the positive side and everything. And then Coach Pike, it's just really good to have, like, his insight because he's really smart, like, basketball-wise. And he's just a good person to listen to because he's going to tell you the right things to do.
He sees things nobody else sees. What about that intensity, Ellie? She's talking about your dad there. I mean, he's your dad. He's your coach. It's got to be – none of us have really experienced anything like that. It's a unique relationship. Your sister went through it with him, but it's always different for everybody. What's that like is it just you're just used to it now, having seen it? Because I know you know, there's pictures of you 5 years old and you're out in the huddle with the Lady Indians, so you've seen him like this for a long time. But you still respect it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what's that been like this year for you?
It's been pretty rough some days.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like it's worse on me, but
Probably is.
yeah.
What do you feel like is his biggest gripe about you?
Probably just when I'm not aggressive and just don't take open shots.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's fair. I think that's a good. I think you're a good weapon. So I think that's a good thing. So is there anybody you want to shout out to, or anybody you want to say hey to? Well, you've got the opportunity. Annalie, we talked about your dad had won state championships, and he's gotten you this good schedule and everything. You just want to thank him for that.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah. You know, he likes to be mentioned on.
He does.
Yeah.
He loves attention.
He
Yeah.
doesn't. He
He
doesn't.
does. That's a fact. He would be disappointed if you didn't. Anybody else, though?
No.
Okay. All right, Ellie, what about you?
I don't got nobody.
No one in particular, huh?
Nope.
All right,
I've
well,
got an interesting question
go
for
ahead.
Ellie.
Yeah.
Talking about Coach West, Father West, teddy bear or grizzly bear? Which would you describe him as the most?
Grizzly bear.
Grizzly bear.
I think so. Yeah.
On the court and off the court. Yeah. Grizzly bear. Okay. Very intense fella. Okay.
Guys, you didn't give a shout out. I mean, you got teammates sitting back here. Lydia Klein, Grace Shoemaker, Cameron Stiltner. Come on now. Don't they get any love for showing up?
Love yins.
Thanks, guys.
But, and I say that because they were back there waiting for you guys to call their name, and you didn't.
And most of the time,
That's the only reason they're here.
most of the time they'll always say, "Oh, my mom and dad." You know, I mean, so. But
Well, we've talked about both their fathers. So
well,
that's
yeah,
good.
I mean, that's enough.
All right, guys. Good luck tomorrow night against Austin East. Going to be a big one. It's going to be a fun one. And then next week as well as we get ready for the postseason. That is Analia Terry, Ellie West. We're going to take another break. When we come back, we'll switch gears and talk about the Scott Lady Highlanders right after this. Welcome back to the Roundtable on the IH Sports Network. We are live from the C. Michael Lay Technology Center in Helenwood. Let me take an opportunity to thank our sponsors who helped to bring you the Roundtable, and those include First National Bank, Twin K Construction, Baby J's Pizza, who provided our pizza tonight. Got to mention them. Razak's, Mark's Family Pharmacy, El Rey, South Fork Physical Therapy, Tommy's Motorsports, and Mountain People's Health Councils. And now we're joined by two of the Lady Highlander seniors. This is numbers 3 and 4 out of 6 that are seniors on this year's squad, and that is Braylon Russ, Rachel Garrett, and guys, Rick's going to take this, but now I got to ask you to start off. Tomorrow night, we didn't mention this at the outset. Tomorrow night is senior night. Are you ready? Are there going to be emotions? I don't know. As a player, I know as a parent what it's going to be like. I think.
Are you going to cry?
I probably will.
Okay.
I'll be up there on your and Harris's shoulder. Just a ball.
No, you have to be down there on the floor for the senior night
when I get back.
Okay.
Now, listen, guys,
Oh,
I am not ready. It has, and you guys have both been through that, but it has slipped up on me. But anyway, how about you guys? Are you ready?
Yeah.
No.
I've
Rick?
not really thought about senior night. I'm just ready to get revenge on Gibbs.
There you go. That's the right attitude. I like to hear that.
That's the right attitude. It is an important game. All of our 3 remaining district games are very important. Let's break them down just a little bit. Gibbs tomorrow night. Braylon, you've already mentioned it. What do we want to do better, differently, to be successful tomorrow night?
Well, we got to step up on the offensive side. I felt like we didn't score much at all that game. We got to get Brittany scoring a few more points that game. I don't think she scored much that game. And we've got to pressure them.
Let me.
Rachel,
can I
go
interrupt
ahead.
you real quick? Since you brought up Brittany, we've been getting texts. Okay, I got a text from your brother asking how Brittany was, and that's something we've not talked about. You guys have been with her at practice both days this week, so let us know.
She practiced, right?
She good. She's good to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I knew that. You just didn't ask me that.
Carry on.
Okay. I forgot what I was talking about. What do you think about the Gibbs game, Rachel? What do we need to do? What don't we need to do, maybe is a better question.
We turned the ball over a lot that game.
Indeed.
So we need to cut those down a little bit. We need to pressure more because our court is shorter, so it'll be easier to pressure. And we need to score because our score was not that very high in that game. So
it's worked out, unfortunately, in many ways. And I want to give a shout out to Shay Ellis and to Gracie Lewis right here. Their loss, illness and injury for the rest of the season. It's made Coach Wright's bench a little shorter. He'd like to go 9 or 10 deep, but most of the time it's going to be 8 now. Can you tell a difference in how you're practicing and the amount of practice time that you're getting to prepare for Gibbs tomorrow night with a little shorter rotation available?
a little bit, yeah. We've been putting up more shots than anything lately because we need to get our legs back from the past 2 games. So.
Well, it is five games in 8 days, but it's going to be 4 games in 5 days. Tomorrow, Saturday, and then Monday, Tuesday. I mean, so that's a real short turnaround. Who's been the toughest district opponent? We could mention some other schools out there. But who's been the toughest district opponent for the girls' team to play this year?
Clinton for sure.
Clinton for sure. What did they do that makes them elevate up here?
I just feel like they pressure us a lot. Like their pressure is really good.
Yeah, it is indeed. What about you, Rachel?
Clinton, for sure. Yeah, our emotions get high that game because it's a big rivalry for us, and their length is much longer than the rest of the district teams.
They're pretty good. Actually, in my memory, I think Gibbs is a pretty lengthy team. They got a couple of players that, look like they're 6'4", but they're only like 6 footers or so like that. So.
You stop. You have never shown emotion. Has she ever shown emotion in a basketball game in her life? No. She's never gotten angry. No.
No.
We came out of
somebody's doing that for you, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
We came
you don't
out
have to worry about that. You're trying to stay calm and take care of business.
And I was walking beside Rachel, and I said, can you do something for me tomorrow night? She just gave me the look, didn't really say anything. I said, will you smile during the game a little bit? And then she fell down and hit her head, and we got a smile out of her. And I mean, so things just changed a little bit. You're okay from that, though, right?
Yep.
Because, I mean, when we're up there and we over the crowd and we hear the thump through the headset, it's obviously it was wood on wood, probably. That's what you would say, probably. But we're glad that you're okay on that.
We take her back and forth to Vanderbilt enough to treat her migraines and her headaches. She should be prepared for anything.
Right now, that was your first comment, and I said, well, that's a migraine.
Yeah.
I mean, but it wasn't, and she weathered it just fine. So Clinton is the team. Can we beat Clinton? Can we put together a good game?
Oh, yeah.
Start with Rachel.
Yeah. As long as we don't fall under their pressure and we keep control of our turnovers and our passes and everything, we can beat them.
Brendan, what's the number one thing? Rachel brought up turnovers, and that's the first thing I look at. Leetta sends me the stat sheet every night, and the first thing I look at is turnovers. I know from watching the game that we either shot bad or shot well, So I look at turnovers. Then I try to balance out turnovers with assists and steals. It'd be good to have that 50-50 ratio there. But sometimes when we see a lot of turnovers and, 3 steals and, like 4 assists, I mean, how do we protect the basketball more? How do we make sharper passes? You're a senior, a lot of experience, just like Rachel. How do we prepare for that before each and every game?
We've got to use a lot of more like pass fakes and bounce passes to get around people's length because we don't have the length that everyone else has. Mm-hmm. So we just need to make more bounce passes and more pass fakes. I think that'll be a big thing against Clinton and against Gibbs and Gap. Gap has more length than anyone. So.
Well, of those 3 games, Gap and I lost my train of thought.
Union County.
Union County are 2 teams that you have wins over. Mm-hmm. I mean, does that make you think that, hey, we've got a better chance now as opposed to, we don't know. Certainly if you'd lost against those 2 teams, does self-doubt creep into your mind a little bit?
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
I think you're supremely confident most nights. Yeah. Rachel, as we get ready for tomorrow night and Saturday, I'm going to concentrate on that because they're back-to-back. Both district games. It seems like it's a long road trip up to Cumberland Gap. If you look at the map and the way the crow flies, it's not very far, but it seems like it takes a long time to get there. Would you prefer that both of those games be at home, or do you mind going up to Cumberland Gap? Or it's an early afternoon type thing up there. Do you mind going up to Cumberland Gap?
I don't mind it. I feel like we play just as good on the road as we do at home, and our fans, they travel well too, so it's not really that big of a difference.
Any surprises on the team this year with your teammates? Like, hey, who's really stepped up? We didn't see this coming. Is there anybody on the team that you feel like has exceeded maybe your individual or the team's expectations?
I feel like before Gracie got hurt, she stepped up in a lot of games. She played really good right before she got hurt.
Mm-hmm. A ball of energy when she actually hits the floor. I don't care if the player's 6'2" or they're 5'2". She's not afraid of them at all, and kudos to her for that. What about you, Rachel?
Connor, she's been through a lot of injuries the past few years, and I feel like once she got healthy this year, she's really been able to get in there and pound them girls down low. Nobody can stop her. So
And we've got to be a little careful, and I'm sure Coach Wright's aware of this, a little careful with Connor and not really wear her out. I saw her limping a little bit Tuesday night, and I think that was just because that may have been the game she had more minutes that she played in that game than any other all season. So 2 good answers. Who have you as seniors, in terms of underclassmen, who have you been able to have a better impact on to work with them a little bit to make them better ball players this year?
I feel like Callie, because she gets her confidence gets really low sometimes because she's a freshman and she gets a lot of minutes. And I feel like she just gets really nervous, and I try to bring her at my best.
She can come into a game and it's, she's flying all over the place and nothing seems to happen. So I've noticed that too. How about you, Rachel?
Carly Branscombe. Anytime she'll miss a shot and her confidence will get low, and we're just there to pick her up, tell her to keep shooting, and she'll hit some.
Tell us good things about your other senior teammates. You can do 1, 2, 3, however many you want to talk about. Tell us good things about. They don't have to be good things. It's your turn to talk. Tell us something that you'd like and admire about your other senior teammates.
Well, Rachel always brings energy every game. On the bench, she gets the bench fired up every game, and I just feel like I love the energy she brings every game. And then Gracie, she's always supportive in everything, even when she's hurt. She's been one of the best teammates anyone can ask for. And Julie, she's just Julie. Julie brings it every game. Those threes when she hits it, she just shows no emotion, and it's so funny.
Yeah, she's sort of a silent assassin, isn't she? When the threes go up suddenly, you think, well, not doing well. Then suddenly, she can put up 3 or 4 of those and make them like that, and then everything seems to go good. Are we missing anybody else? Melanie?
Mel, she's just always positive to everybody.
And it's a shame that she's had injuries that have sort of slowed her down in her career, so that's a shame. How about you, Rachel, on the other seniors?
Julie, for sure. She'll be really quiet all night, and then when you need her to go in there and hit a big shot, she'll do it. And you try to get her pumped up, but she'll just run down the court with her little grin on her face. And Gracie, even though she got there being hurt her senior year, she's sitting there on the bench. She's always getting us ready, getting us energized. And Mel, she's so sweet. She's been through injuries the past few years too, but her senior year she was ready to come out there and ready to work. And Braylon, she is so awesome. She's so sweet, and she'll be quiet. She's another one who will be quiet.
Let's record this moment and put that out on Facebook, okay?
She'll be quiet all game. She won't really hit many shots, and then you need her to go in there and hit a shot, and she'll do it. And she'll, even if she's not shooting well that night, she's gonna step in on rebounds and defense and everything. So.
And then Zoe.
Yes, she brings so much hustle to the team and so much energy too.
Yeah, sometimes I don't even think a rock wall would slow Zoe down. I mean, I think she just tried to pound right through that, wouldn't she?
She's 100 miles an hour every second of the game, every second she steps in.
Yeah, we appreciate the effort that she brings when she gets to come in the game. And as I said, it's down to 8, maybe a 9-player rotation right now for Coach Wright. And I look forward to the remaining games. I think everybody has a chance to go out and play well. The team as a whole, have a lot of fun. That's my focus. I told somebody on Tuesday night, Wyatt Lloyd, I told him as I was walking behind the bench, I said, man, it's a game. Go out and have fun. And now he said, yeah, I remember that now. But girls, go out and have fun in these remaining games. You're seniors. Leave it out there on the court. Have fun, and don't forget to smile and wave to your fans up there. So,
Rick talked about the rotation. I got several questions, but I want to start with this one. Rick talked about the rotation. We saw you and Connor Hudson. You're the 2 bigs on the team. We saw you guys on the floor together, fourth quarter against Union County as you guys were closing that out. It worked pretty well, I thought. So tell us going forward, is that something we're going to see more of?
I think so, because if I need to, I can go out and play behind the 3-point line while Connor goes inside, and we play a zone just as good as we do a man. So
now, I want to pick on Julie a little bit because she's your senior teammate who is here. And by the way, Julie's going to be on, and she didn't know this yet, but the next roundtable is going to be a week from Monday night. Julie's going to be on here, and don't shake your head. So Rachel, every time I look at her on the floor, she looks like she's just ready to kill somebody, obviously. Julie has always got that smile on her face. Does she ever not smile? Is there anything that could happen that would cause her to not smile?
No.
Where does she get that from? Because her dad, Dwayne Lawson, is not that smiley.
But Mama is.
Okay, well, that's fair.
She sits over from us right there, and so I take a glance that way occasionally, like when I'm talking to your age or something like that. I see her, she's right in there, But all these girls have really strong mama bears behind them.
Yeah. So, how many bench warnings have you gotten this year?
I've not gotten any yet, but I'm planning on getting one by the end of the season.
How many times has Jake Wright had to pull you off and set you down because he's almost tripped over you?
Not really.
Oh, come on now.
Not really, Coach Wright. It's more John Hayden. He's always hitting the seat, making me sit down before I walk out to the middle of the court.
Braylon, you're a legacy player at Scott High. Now, you young pups don't know what that means. A legacy player means you had someone in your family that came before you and played. Your mom, your brother played too at Scott High just a couple of years ago, but your mom played way back in the day. So I want to ask you, have you seen any old tapes, cassette tapes laying around the house and watched her games? And if so, who was a better player? Is Braylon Russ a better player, or was Christy Phillips back in the day? Was she the better player?
I'm going to give my mom the credit. She was good.
All right.
Well, throw Bryson under the bus, right?
That was before my time. I wouldn't remember that. But so there you go. That's good. You were Bryson.
I don't know. I might have to pick myself there.
Rachel or Toby?
Rachel.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
With that, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk to two of the Scott Highlander players right after this. We're back on the roundtable live from the C. Michael Lay Technology Center in Helenwood. This is the IH Sports Network. This is Tim Smith. This is Rick Keaton. I'm Ben Garrett, and we are joined by Scott High senior Hugo Henry, the last of the three seniors, and sophomore. It's kind of like when we had the Lady Indians up here. We got a senior, we got a sophomore, Wyatt Lloyd. So thank you guys for joining us. And Hugo, I want to ask a question now before Rick takes over.
Okay.
I don't have anything for Wyatt yet. I'll get him at the end. You didn't play. You played as a freshman, basketball,
Yeah,
I mean.
yeah.
Then you didn't play as a sophomore and a junior, and you came back out this year as a senior. And I'm just curious, you kicked in football, been going to kicking camps, getting your scholarship offers lined up. You've got a couple of those. You're getting ready for your senior season in soccer, of course. Yes. So is basketball just a way to pass the time between those two? What's the deal there?
I remember after I stopped playing after freshman years, Toby and Sky always tried to talk me back into playing, and I just never did. And also, the past couple winters have been really boring just sitting around the house. So just a way for me to stay in shape, preparing for soccer season. So, and, I just enjoy playing with all the guys and everything like that, being part of a team. So,
okay.
It's good to have you back because it is a great way to stay in shape.
Mm-hmm.
It's short bursts of running as compared to 40-yard dashes or 50-yard dashes out on the soccer field. But what's it been like to step back in now and talk about your other two senior teammates that you have? And I'd like to say talk about the juniors, but we'll have to skip those for right now until we get some juniors on the team. So tell us about the interaction with them and the other players. Start with White and any other sophomores.
As like a team, we have some very good camaraderie, but everybody has a role, and that's the thing that Coach has been trying to stress to us is all of us, even me as a senior and the other two seniors, and obviously the sophomores that get a lot of playing time, they all have their own specific role. And, obviously my role, I think, is kind of be like a spiritual presence to all the guys and pray before the games in the locker rooms, and also be a encouragement on like the bench and all those kind of things, because, I'm 5'8", so I'm not going to be our leading rebounder, and I can't shoot like the rest of these guys, so I don't. That's not my role, So I'm happy with what I'm doing. I don't really have anything to complain about, playing time wise or anything like that. I'm just happy to be part of the team and what we got going on there. So.
And a student section favorite when you do get in home games. I mean,
yeah.
they support you like crazy, man.
I don't know why, but I guess they like me.
Well, there you go. That's a good start there.
You have a very chantable name.
Yeah,
you go.
Yeah.
Wyatt Lloyd, one of the umpteen senior or sophomores that we have on the team. I wish we had umpteen seniors, but one of the sophomores. How's your class growing up into the basketball season? couple of them, and you yourself had starts last season, got a lot of minutes there like that. But how's the rest of the sophomore class coming on? Because we know that's our future. What's your first thought about the class?
I definitely think that the whole sophomore class has adapted well to high school basketball. Some of us did see limited minutes and more minutes than others, but I think we've came a long way. Just the pace of high school basketball, it being a lot quicker, just moving around more and just playing with heart. Yeah, I think we're doing pretty good.
We had the unfortunate, not very good game at Anderson County. Coach Hayden told us after the game, he said, look, I apologize. We didn't put a good product out there. But from one night to the next, the product certainly improved against Union County. Took better care of the basketball, made a lot of those assists again like that. Had a chance in that game until midway through the fourth quarter, but setting up the offense and everybody seemed to be executing their role. Tell us what that changed from just one night to the next, what Coach Hayden talked to you guys about and how you went out to execute.
Coach definitely did seem very disappointed in us, and I think just maybe speaking for myself, but everybody wanted to come out and please him, So we all came out playing pretty hard. We listened to what he said, tried to protect the ball better, and tried to run his plays the way he wants them and try to get something out of them. So, is
there anybody that we get down to that last 3 seconds of the game, trailing by 1 point? I think you'll probably say, hey, I want it, but who do we want to have the ball in that situation?
If it's driving in, I'd say Toby, to take to the rack, maybe get a foul. But as far as shooting goes, probably Isaiah or Sky or Goody. All three of them can shoot very well. If it's spot up, probably more Goody. If it's a kick out three, definitely Goody. But as far as making their own shot and getting their own bucket, it'll probably be Isaiah or Sky. That's what I have to say.
Have you enjoyed watching Toby and Sky through this senior season, because they had to be the seniors to lead everybody else, the sophomores and freshmen? Have you enjoyed watching them? And tell me what you like about watching those two cats play.
Yes, I enjoy watching them a lot. Like we've been very close for a long time, especially me and Toby, because we actually played basketball together at Birchfield. And me and Toby kind of had that relationship that kind of him and Sky do now. I think if I would have played all 4 years, I could have helped out a lot more. But Sky and Toby do a really good job as leaders, holding people accountable. And, obviously I can't do that as much, but they do a really good job of doing that so that nobody else has to. And I think that they just handle their roles really well as seniors. And I'm looking forward to what the rest of the season holds for them and the rest of the team. So.
Exactly. We've not mentioned anything like that, but the boys' team on a roll. Before we got into this, I can't say on a real roll. You only played one game, then suddenly one was canceled because of high winds, and then we got all the snow and stuff. But the team was playing well leading up to that. Tell us what happened during that 2-week break. I know you got to practice and stuff like that, but just your opinions, what happened?
The snow days and, the high winds, it took a lot of time off and kind of bunched our games all together. So, I don't know. We still practice and stuff, but I guess when we come out and played Gibbs, we didn't bring it, and then that carried over into AC, Clinton, then AC. So, it was just a downward slope. But we're starting to get back up better.
Your thoughts on it?
I kind of agree with what Wyatt was saying. I think that we were playing really well, but once the time off hit, we kind of just got into a slump, and it's just kind of one of those things that you got to play through. And now, obviously, we can't undo that, so we're gonna have to play through these next couple of district games that we got, and hopefully try to improve our win record in the district, especially, and throughout the rest of the regular season as well.
I'm just going to hold this to our district games right now, but I know what was our probably worst district game, but what teams do you think we played the best against in the district?
Definitely Clinton. We all just kind of rallied on we want to beat want to beat Clinton. You know, it's definitely turned into a big rivalry between us. You know, I think we've traded two times last year, went 1-1 against them last year, and they went 1-1 against us this year. So, and it's that first game away. You know, you're fired up because you're playing in an away gym, a very loud away gym.
Yeah.
So we all had it on our minds. We came play together. We talked on defense, and we executed perfect.
Did well and had to hold on just a little bit in that game at the end. But I think that speaks well. That was a game that Sky missed a lot of the fourth quarter, maybe all of the fourth quarter. But the team held up well, and the role players played their roles very well in that.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Sky definitely affected us, but we all came together, and, you know, Sky's one of our leading scorers, but, you know, we had to score without him. So,
have you guys trained him to hold his temper since then?
Yeah, we talked to him a little bit about not getting a little fired up.
Well, you know, fortunately that got straightened out because I went home that night and I fast forwarded to the game and I was looking at it and trying to do frame by frame, and first thing I thought, well, he's in a headlock. Then he took one on the chin. Then he tries to gain his balance and step back, and this guy threw this haymaker from way out in left field there someplace like that, and I'm thinking, well, if that had landed, Sky Babb would have been out cold pretty much on that. What do you think, Hugo? Is Clinton certainly that memorable game that you have in all of our district games so far?
Yeah, I think it is. Watching the guys play together that game, they played together really well. I think that they all, like you said, served their roles the way they needed to. And I mean, obviously, we played good against Cumberland Gap, but you know they're not as hard as an opponent as Clinton. But I think that our best district game was definitely Clinton. Just watching the guys and how they handled the circumstances, you know, with the foul trouble and Sky being out as well for a while. So, I think that Isaiah stepped up really well, and you know we had some guys come off the bench and step in when we needed them, and like you said, everybody was just doing what they needed to do, and we got a good win out of it. So,
with 5 games left on the schedule, and I'll throw this to Hugo first, but I want you to chip in too. 5 games left on the schedule. Can this team begin to put 4 good quarters together? I mean, and when I say that, where, you know, we might score 18 points one quarter and not fall to 4 points the next quarter. Can we put 4 quarters together in all these games, you think?
Yeah, one big thing that Coach was talking to us about was the first time we played Anderson County, there was just a few minutes there when things kind of got out of control, and they had they scored, I think he said 8 points, and then another instance later in the game they scored several more points, and that's kind of what made the difference in the game. And I think that if we can limit those down and not get those long droughts of the other team scoring and us not scoring, and that's just really one of our big problems. And also our defense needs to get better. But I think that Coach, we've been working on that the past couple of days in practice, and he's been trying to get us to learn this new defense. And I think the team's doing really well with it. They did really well with it today in practice. And I think that that'll probably be the turning point over the next couple games, will be that defense, and the team's defense as a whole is a new defense that Coach has been working on. So,
how about you, Wyatt?
I definitely think that we do need to put 4 quarters together. Coach Rusty talks about, you know, teams obviously are going to have runs, and we got to have runs back. Definitely we've done all right with offense so far, but when it goes wrong, we need defense to back it up, and that's what we've really struggled with so far. So we definitely need to all play very good defense, because when our shots ain't hitting, then we have nothing going for us, and we all need to have high intensity on defense for sure.
With Coach Aiden, this is your first year with him. This is your second year with him. When does he get most excited, red-faced, red-headed, when you're performing poorly offensively, or when your defense just falls off a cliff someplace?
Defense.
For sure, defense. Yeah.
In other words, we've seen you can tell when he's getting fired up, because there's it sort of gets –
it's a glow.
Yeah, there's a real red glow that starts emanating there like that. So I'm assuming that you'd prefer not to be playing so bad defensively that he's calling timeouts and talking about, hey, if we don't stop him, we can't do this, right?
Yeah, it would definitely be nice.
Have you adjusted to that, the glow Yeah. You go.
Yeah, sometimes I can tell he's getting pretty agitated and sitting there watching him, and sometimes he can't yell at the players on the floor, so he turns and yells at us on the bench. So it's kind of I hate when he has to waste a time out for those guys to get him checked into place. But it took a learning curve. I've never really had a coach that got that fired up. But I'm glad that he does because, it usually gets us in check.
Look, he's a lot softer now than he used to be.
That's what I've heard. But
yeah. And has he ever talked to you guys about the importance of he really wants to go into the fourth quarter with 4 timeouts left? He doesn't like to just waste and use timeouts. Has he talked to you about that?
Yes, he definitely doesn't want to waste them. During the middle of the timeout when he is chewing us out, he'll usually be like, you guys just made me waste the time out for this, you know what I'm saying? So he does not want to waste the time out to chew us out and make us play harder.
I'm going to say good luck. You've got 3 district games, 2 other games, 5 games in the 8 days, and I want to say good luck. And remember, just like I told the girls, it's a game. Have fun, because the better you do, the more fun you can have at it.
Before we go, I got a couple of questions. I told you I was coming back to you, White. So we asked Braylon Russ when she was here. Oh, I got to apologize to Christy Russ, Braylon's mother. I said Christy Phillips, and I don't know what I was thinking. I do know what I was thinking. She's related to the old doggone Phillips family over there at Annandale, Ronnie and Donnie and the whole crew. Anyway, and you're related to them as well. You're into that family.
Yes, yeah.
You're a legacy player also. You were just a baby at the time, but your sister Victoria Lloyd was a 1,000-point scorer at Scott High. Now you're on your way. I got to think that if you keep the same production level your next 2 seasons that you've had this year, you're going to be a 1,000-point scorer, which you will be the first one since Luke West, maybe, if that happens, unless one of your other sophomore teammates beat you to it. So what do you think? Can you surpass Victoria's point total?
I don't know. She could shoot it. I mean, and Dad will tell you, Dad jokes with me a lot about Victoria definitely being the better ball player. He'll tell people that she's, the tougher ball player. He says if I had any bit of Victoria in me, I'd be a heck of a ball player. So
I might have agreed with him 2 years ago, but you're coming on strong. Okay, so you got Stephen Butts is also in the family, who is one of the most prolific shooters in Scott High history. So where does this talent come from in that family?
I have no clue. I mean,
okay, some good genes in there somewhere, though.
I guess.
All right, so this is a really unfair question, okay? My son, not the goofy one sitting back there, but my cute little son, he always goes over to the bench and helps Rusty develop his game plan before the game because he's spoiled and thinks he's somebody. He always writes down his own 5 starters who he thinks should start. Rusty ignores him, thankfully. And sorry, not thankfully. But one of the ones that he's always got in the starting lineup is Logan, okay? And Rusty has yet to listen to him. But now I know who Cooper takes out of the starting lineup to put Logan in for. You talk kind of like a coach, okay? You got a little bit of that experience in you. As a coach, you're going to put Logan in the starting lineup. Who loses their spot?
It's definitely not a guard, so it's either me or Toby, and I'd say Toby.
Okay. So there you go. So next game tomorrow night, senior. Well, we can't do it on senior night.
No.
We'll do it.
You got to start Toby.
Yeah, Saturday at Cumberland Gap. Logan's going to start. Toby's going to sit. Sounds good to me. You go. Last question. Let's talk soccer because we may not be able to get you back on before soccer season.
By the way, soccer practice started today, did it not?
It started this week.
This week.
Outside, yes.
Yeah, they started outside today.
Yeah.
Tell us what we can expect from the Scott High soccer team this year.
A very good team. I think that we got a lot of experience coming back, and me personally, I think that we can make another sub-state run. But, that's just going to be up to us, and we're going to have to figure some things out, figure out who's going to be where. Me and Dad have been talking about that a lot. And the biggest thing is we got to find a keeper.
Who is your keeper going to be?
We don't know yet, so that kind of puts it down.
So anybody can audition for that?
Yeah, maybe Wyatt.
Wyatt's got good hands. Come on, Wyatt Lloyd.
Oh, wait.
Hey, before we step aside of that, I need to mention this right here. Mason Acres is one of the 12 or 14 candidates for the News Sentinel Wrestler of the Year. You can go to the News Sentinel and you can vote on that. So we need to throw that out there. And I don't know if the voting's still open. I think it might be. If it is, go out there and let's show some support from Mason Acres off the Highlander wrestling team.
Hugo Henry, Wyatt Lloyd, good luck to you guys tomorrow night and next week and in the tournament, which will be coming up starting on Valentine's night. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll wrap things up with a couple of seniors from Oneida as we talk to Caden Rector and Landon Lindbergh right after this.